All right, for you compact truck buyers, this is exciting times. Ford finally has an answer for people that live in northern climates or need a little bit more off-road capability. The new 2025 Ford Maverick Hybrid. You can now get it in an all-wheel drive. Let's do this. So this is the outgoing model. You can kind of see the front end, the fascia. It's been a really hard to get truck for the past few years. When this thing initially launched, the game changer part of this was a truck that started under $20,000. I know a lot of the people that watch this channel will probably say this isn't really a truck. There's actually a lot of truth to that because it's technically a car platform. It's a front wheel drive, but I do look at it as a truck because it does have a bed in the back of it, which it's not huge, but it's actually got a lot of versatility. What's amazing to me about the Maverick since this thing came out, and I've got a few other videos on the Maverick you can check out, but check out the payload on these trucks. A lot of the payload on these Mavericks is more payload capacity than even a half-ton truck like an F-150. You'll see a lot of these trucks have between 1,500 and 1,800 pounds of payload. And you could see, I've seen a ton of these Mavericks with 1,600 to 1,700 pounds of payload. So if you're not pulling a big trailer and you need some weight, these things are actually super capable. So what's awesome is people like myself that are shooting for a fuel mileage daily driver, these are really great, awesome vehicles, especially like you see some of the ones, maybe you get an FX4 or the trimmer platform that gets you all-wheel drive. The downside is it forces you to the 2-liter turbo in a standard all-wheel drive platform. If you're chasing fuel economy, you could lose 15 miles per gallon in the city versus the standard hybrid option. But Ford has an answer for us. So let's look at this and let's go through the details now.
All right, guys, this is it. Ford answered the call. Everybody I know that has wanted or purchased one of the new Mavericks from first model year production, 2022, 2024, they wish they could get the hybrid, but an all-wheel drive. You couldn't get it until 2025. And also, I think another thing that's kind of cool in this picture, not only are they saying this is a hybrid and all-wheel drive, they're showcasing this as pulling an Airstream. If I had to guess, this thing's somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000 pounds, and I'm going to get into the specs here, but you couldn't do that much towing on a prior front-wheel drive only Maverick. This is awesome. I mean, this truck has already been one of the best-selling vehicles, and just to show you, and we looked in 2024, the top-selling vehicles. Number 6 is the Ford Maverick of best-selling vehicles. It's up 81% over last year's units in 2024 with a starting price of $24,000. It's the most affordable pickup truck of the best-selling vehicles in 2024. And now you can kind of see here, let's just kind of look at the front end here. You can kind of see the fascia. It doesn't look bad, but you can really tell that Ford modernized this front end. I think this looks much better. Really toughens it up. Plus those rims actually look pretty cool. But let's get into this a little bit. So you're obviously getting the upgraded 13.2 inch display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, no big deal. But let's talk specifically about this right here. Let's talk about this right here. I think this is a really interesting diagram. If you haven't seen this type, this is basically just a total market analysis, and they talk about small car, and you can kind of see the smaller it is. It talks about the hybrid as far as the powertrain segment, and you can kind of see where the demand is, and new to Ford, returning to Ford. You can see the hybrid plays really well into the Maverick strategy. The other thing I think it's kind of cool is for people that are, not hauling big trailers, just the capability. If you get into these a little bit, you'll be shocked. This thing has more payload than a lot of the half-ton trucks out there. The thing that I'm excited about this, with the hybrid, they're saying an estimated EPA of 40 miles per gallon in the city with the all-wheel drive option. So now I went over to fueleconomy.gov, and anybody can kind of get into this site, and I just compared the all-wheel drive today. The only way to get the all-wheel drive is with the 2-liter turbo versus the front-wheel drive hybrid versus the next two competitors in the class shown in North America. So you have the Hyundai Santa Cruz front-wheel drive and the Ridgeline. I know the Ridgeline is technically more of a mid-size truck, but I was comparing front-wheel drive platform vehicles and just kind of comparing across the group. And if you look at this, Ford has this group pretty throttled for fuel economy. I mean, currently the front-wheel drive hybrid is almost 14 miles per gallon better than its competitor in a front-wheel drive state as the Santa Cruz, and even the all-wheel drive EcoBoost gets better fuel economy. So Ford is really basically saying there's nobody in the competition for fuel economy in this. And the fact that they're going to be going from 40 miles per gallon to 42 miles per gallon to 40 miles per gallon with the new all-wheel drive hybrid, that is still 18 miles per gallon better than the 2-liter EcoBoost. So when I start thinking about that, I would wonder if Ford's going to just cancel the 2-liter. Why? Most people don't really care for the 2-liter EcoBoost because generally speaking, the 2-liter was typically used with, if you wanted more fuel economy, people typically went with the 2-liter EcoBoost versus the hybrid because, well, you didn't have the max towing. Well, let's look at this now. 2,000 and 4,000 pounds you can get with the hybrid or the 2-liter. Payload, similar. Now, what you do get more, you get a little more power. You get a little more torque. You get a little different transmission. But if you're after fuel economy and you're on a budget, which is typically the type of buyer that's buying this, they're looking to keep most money in their pocket. I bet you 90% of the sales now, or 95% of the sales will be the hybrid versus the 2-liter. I know I would not consider the 2-liter when I look at the new specs. I'm curious too, when it talks about these options, how they're going to do. Is this going to be an all-wheel drive system like a front-wheel drive car that sends power to the front axle, or is this going to be a hybrid system where it's just powered the front wheels through electrification? It doesn't talk much about that, so we'll have to dive into that later when we find out more. But these new front end, this new headlights, these things look sweet. This is a huge refresh, and I think it makes it look much better. Let's see some of the other changes here. So this is an update. I just did some videos of drive reviews of the 2024 Maverick. I'll include a link down below if you want to kind of see the Tremor versus the FX4. I was pretty impressed by both, but you can see Ford really made some great improvements for the 2025 model year. And I'm just looking right now, $26,295 available at the beginning and late of 2024. So it looks like it's about, $2,000 more than the 2024 model year, which is a kind of a big jump if you think about that. It's almost 10%, but I'll be curious to see how much of a bump they put in price for the all-wheel drive option. So for those people looking for the 4,000 pound tow rating that really didn't care to have the 2-liter and they want the 40 miles per gallon and they don't need the torque and the power of the 2-liter, this is going to be a home run. I know a lot of people that would be interested in this. I'll be curious to see what they charge extra for this platform. So, and here's just another thing. Maverick Awards, #1 selling hybrid pickup truck, #1 among loyalty in small trucks. One of the areas where I see this truck being a big seller right now is you see a lot of these Mavericks on the road for construction companies where salesmen are going out and just crews that are trying to bring a little bit of material to a job site or construction site. This is where you're seeing a lot of people driving these Mavericks because it gives you more capability than a car and fuel economy that's awesome. So anyhow, for you mid-sized truck buyers, Ford basically took it to another level with the 2025 Ford Maverick all-wheel drive. I'll be curious if Toyota is finally going to come out with their truck to try to go after this. That would be really great if they do. If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe.